Recently, I found myself filled with a desire to go back on gaming generations past, to explore through those that I played on previous consoles or might have missed growing up. During this time, I've been hungrily buying up PS2 titles and filling up my PS3 back catalog to the point that I would have to quit my job, abandon my friends, and fall into complete isolation for at least a year to get through them all. It was on one trip to one of my favorite game stores growing up that I was hit with a wave of nostalgia. The game posters lined the walls, the stacks of games from every possible generation guiding me through a maze that is now easily accessible with my funds, instead of whatever I could scrounge up with trade-ins and manual labor around the house for pay as a kid. After walking out with a lighter wallet and a bag full of games, I became more aware of this feeling, as if I just stepped into a time machine and glanced into a life I'd already lived. Once I got home, sat down, and booted up my copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the PS2, I was back to being that 10-year-old kid again, celebrating the end of a week spent at school with a good game on a Friday night. Just now over a decade older, and instead celebrating a week of work survived. Yet, as time wore on and I kept playing, I was hit with a wave of other feelings. While I was replicating what I once did and still having a good time, things were different. Maybe my gaming palette has changed, and these games of old, while a joy to go through again, didn't carry the weight in reality that they did in my mind. It was fun going through Simpsons Hit and Run for what must have been the 12th time in my life, but I'd played better versions of this kind of open-world crime caper genre. Perhaps I'd become spoiled on the newer generations, and new games were ruining everything, taking away what precious love I'd once had, even more proof that the games industry now hates us. Except no, that wasn't it. It came down to me. I'd been going back for the wrong reasons, and I hadn't even realized it. These games all carried some weight on my developmental years, and because of that, when I went back to them, I expected to get the same kind of emotions I had back in the day. Silent Hill 2 or Clock Tower 3 were such taboo games growing up that they're made scarier because I shouldn't be playing them. But now, I'm 24, and while they're still plenty scary, they don't carry that forbidden weight to them. Kingdom Hearts will always tug at my heartstrings and leave me an emotional wreck, but the perfection I once saw with the storytelling and writing has now become an acceptance of flaws, to embrace the beauty that is genuinely there. I wasn't going back to these titles for the love of the games, but instead for the pursuit of what once was. I was applying a whole other layer to the value of a game rather than what the game is. I feel like this is a common enough occurrence in the entertainment sphere. I'm sure there's plenty of movies you loved growing up that might not hold out as well with the test of time, or once you've detached them from more personal connections. It's true that entertainment can be actually linked to one's emotions and memories, but once removed, can it maintain that same power it once did? Is Star Wars Battlefront 2 really still one of the best third-person shooters ever made, or is it more likely that the game just means more because that's what you had as a child? I feel the best way to summarize this is, recently I was talking about retro games with a friend on Twitter, and he brought up that while he liked a certain game, it didn't hold the same feelings he had for it that had been building over years and years, and that's what got me thinking about this. I thought of the best possible example in my life that gaming brought me growing up, of a Friday evening after school, sitting with one of my friends as we played LEGO Star Wars and laughed, quoted the movies, staying up at the extra late time of 11 p.m., drinking more soda than we were allowed to, and watching stupid movies together. It was that night that I knew this guy was going to be a best friend. Someone I'd always want in my life, and here we are, a decade and a half later, and he's still one of my closest friends. All of these emotions are tied around that one night playing LEGO Star Wars, where I made a true friend. And it's one of the greatest games ever to me because of that. But I know when the time comes and I sit down to play that game again, it won't carry the same weight it once did. And that's okay. That's growing up, living life, wearing those rose-tinted glasses of the past as you chase the dragon of your youth. The best thing you can do is look forward. Keep playing the game. Embrace the past, embrace the future, and keep making new memories. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This video was a little bit different. I know I've been saying that recently a little bit more often, but I kind of just wanted to cover a specific thought that I had recently had, and I just thought it was interesting to look back on in a way. This channel is for the most part critical and theoretical musings on films and video games, so it's not like this is entirely far removed from what I do anyway. So I hope you found some enjoyment in that, and me looking back on the past and trying not to be too pessimistic, thinking on like playing older games and not being as wowed as them as I remember being wowed. So I hope you found some enjoyment in that. Saying that, if you have any interesting similarities to what was brought up here, let me know in the comments below. I'd actually really like to see like what game or piece of entertainment latched on to your memories. Like, one of my favorite movies of all time is the original King Kong, because I have this great memory of watching it with my grandpa when I was like 12, and I'd already seen it a bunch of times, but that one night specifically, like, that latched on to me, and that's an emotional connection to that piece of entertainment that may not be as good as I remember it in that light, but it's that emotional tie to it. So tell me if you have any of those similar experiences. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.